2018 was a fantastic year for OnePlus. Riding high on the 5T, they released the 6 and the 6T later in that year, which were excellent devices. They became the #1 premium phone brand in India for all of 2018, launched their first US carrier-sold phone, and some sources even say they cracked into the top 5 premium phone brands in the US. They did a lot of things right last year, and the 6T is still one of my favorite phones. But they didn't do everything right. And today, we're going to talk about everything wrong with the OnePlus 6T. I'm Daniel Marchena with XDA TV. Let's dive in. So I want to keep this video as objective as possible. Sure, there's still going to be some subjectivity to it because, well, I'm human. And also, this list really isn't any particular order until the final one. First up on the chopping block is the vibration motor. The good thing is that the OnePlus 6T didn't have the worst vibration motor you could buy in 2018. It had the second worst. The OnePlus 6 had the worst one, and it might have been tied with the Essential phone, but that was from 2017, so it gets a pass. But seriously, in the era of haptic all the things, why is OnePlus still using a terrible coin-style vibration motor? This is the only phone I have that I have to turn off the haptic feedback on the keyboard. And have fun typing with it down on a desk if you have it on. The distracting burr 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 with every key press will have you clamoring for the voice-to-text button. Next up is the speaker. Yeah, the single speaker. In a time when so many competitors are shipping dual-mode earpieces, why is OnePlus still sticking to one speaker? Look, I know people live and die by front-firing speakers, but personally, I don't care for them. They take up a lot of front screen real estate, and they haven't sounded superior in years. The iPhone XS and the XS Max have wonderful speakers. The Galaxy S9 and Note 9 have wonderful speakers. The LG V40, well, that has a crap speaker. Fight me, LG fans. Because again, it's a single speaker and it's horribly unbalanced. Now, I know you can turn on the earpiece with the Magisk module, but have you heard how bad it sounds? Let me know, because when I use it, I hear a faint whisper of a sound, and nothing like true dual-mode earpieces. Look, OnePlus, I know you love dash charging. I do too. But your lack of wireless charging has really impacted my relationship with you. See, I had 2 wireless chargers on my nightstand, one for my phone, one for my watch, and nothing else. Now, though, I have to have an unusually short USB-C cable also dangling on my nightstand. It's not a good look, and it's really annoying when it falls between the bed and the nightstand. But seriously, you're making me live the dangerous life with a glass sandwich, so why aren't you giving me the main advantage of it? Next, the camera. Now, I need to preface this by saying that the OnePlus camera is actually really good. The issue is that it can be, and it is so much better with better software. When OnePlus wants us to think about the 6T, they want us to think of a flagship for less money because they aren't as greedy or they aren't as advertiser heavy as Samsung and Apple. But the fact is that OnePlus's camera can't hold its own against either of those two brands, and they do well to justify their cost. Now, you don't need to reinvent the wheel here, but take some notes from Google and the Gcam mod. Lower your sharpening, drop your oversaturation, and improve the responsive time of your shutter, and for the love of God, there exists an ISO under 100. Trust me, and I trust you'll find it sometime. Next week, we're going to have a deeper dive into this subject, so stay tuned. The headphone jack. You knew where this one was going, and you knew it was going to be here, and you brought it on yourself, OnePlus, with all of your advertisements bashing Apple for removing it. Even your own Twitter polls showed you shouldn't have removed it. Now, I'll admit, the symmetry of the phone is pretty hot with 2 perfect speaker grills, but you really pissed off a lot of fans with that one. Next up is the software, or at least one part of it. Generally, I like Oxygen OS, and I did a video a few weeks back as to why I think it's one of the best Android skins you can get. But there's a nagging fault, and OnePlus has yet to fix it: delayed and broken notifications. Now, as I mentioned in my last video regarding this does not affect everyone, but it does affect some, and it's really annoying. Don'tKillMyApp.com rates OnePlus as the second worst offender of killing things you as the user don't want killed. While personally I have had a much worse time with my Honor View 20, this is something that you simply shouldn't have to deal with, and OnePlus needs to get on this fast. On the subject of software, if you do happen to own a OnePlus 6 or 6T, don't look at the screen corners real closely. Finally, we've come to what probably most of you have figured is the number one thing OnePlus got wrong: the fingerprint sensor. If you ain't first, you're last. Pete and the team over at OnePlus must have watched Ricky Bobby a million times before designing the 6T, because for everything great that it is, this fingerprint sensor is the worst aspect of the entire phone. It doesn't work while your finger is wet, or if it's been wet at any point during the day. It brightens the ambient mode to eye-searing levels if you use it at night. It slows molasses and oftentimes takes multiple tries to work, and finally, under the right conditions, you can actually see it beneath the display. OnePlus had a great sensor on the 6T, or the OnePlus 6, and it worked nearly perfectly. The back of the phone is also set up perfectly, and there's no ergonomic issues that were caused by having the fingerprint sensor there. There simply was no reason to move to this under-glass optical sensor other than being the first in the US with one, and honestly, I wish the phone would have stuck with the old sensor. It's the worst fingerprint sensor I have ever used. Wow, that feels really good to say. So those are my list of things OnePlus got wrong with the 6T. Like I opened with though, the 6 and the 6T are two of my favorite devices of 2018, so all these critiques come from a place of love and regular use. The software, despite its issues, are solid. Battery life is amazing, the display, the build quality, features like the alert slider are above its league and rival other grade A manufacturers like Samsung, Apple, and Huawei. I think my greatest gripe with the phone is that the OnePlus 6 was so close to perfection that I feel in a lot of ways they took a step back with the 6T. That said, the McLaren Edition 6T is my favorite model of the phone ever. Hopefully though, OnePlus works on these issues next year, because as we saw in 2018, they're poised to be something really big. So that wraps up today's video. If you've enjoyed it, leave it a like, and if you're not already subscribed, be sure to do so. If you want a notification of every video we put up here on XDA TV, turn on the notification bell. Be sure to check out my personal channel that's linked in the description. I'm Daniel Marchena, and I'll catch you in the next one.